Claire's 6-year-old daughter looked her in the eyes and said, "I don't love you anymore. I used to love you, but I don't now." Claire did not cry. She did not shout. She did not say a single word. She just nodded slowly, finished the bedtime routine, turned off the light, walked to the bathroom, locked the door, and slid down the wall until she was sitting on the cold floor, because for the first time in 8 months of hearing "I hate you," she believed it. But what Claire didn't know that night was that one sentence from a child psychologist was about to turn everything she believed about her daughter completely upside down. This is Case File 002. It was a Tuesday evening in November. Claire was standing at the kitchen counter, cutting vegetables for dinner. The house was warm. The radio was low. Everything looked ordinary. And then Mia walked in, 6 years old, dark blonde hair, eyes that used to look at Claire like she was the whole world. Mia wanted to watch television. Before dinner, Claire said, "Not yet." And something ignited. Mia's face changed. In an instant, the way a sky changes before a storm, fast, unmistakable, no warning. She screamed, not cried, screamed. And the words that came out of her 6-year-old mouth were words Claire had heard before, words that had become so familiar over the past 8 months that Claire had almost learned to brace for them. Almost. "I hate you. I hate you. And I wish I had a different mummy. You are the worst mummy in the whole world." Claire stood completely still at the kitchen counter, knife in hand, vegetables half cut. She did not cry. She did not shout back. She did not say a word. She just stood there and felt something she had never expected to feel about her own child. Nothing, not anger, not sadness, not frustration, just nothing. Like something inside her had finally gone quiet, and that emptiness scared her more than the screaming ever had, because she was beginning to believe it. She was beginning to believe her daughter meant every single word to understand who Claire was, standing in that kitchen. You need to understand who she was before. Claire was 33 years old. She lived in a quiet house with her husband Robert and their daughter Mia, who had just turned 6. By every measure, Claire was a devoted mother. She was the kind of mother who remembered every small thing. Mia's favorite color this week, the name of every soft toy, the exact way Mia liked her toast cut, the songs she needed to hear when she could not sleep. She had built her entire world around this child. And for the first 5 years of Mia's life, that world had felt complete. Mia was bright, imaginative, funny, deeply affectionate. She was the child who ran to the door when Claire came home, who climbed into her lap uninvited, who whispered, "I love you, Mummy," in the dark like it was the most natural thing in the world. And then, somewhere around Mia's 5th birthday, something shifted slowly at first. More pushback at bedtime, more resistance at mealtimes, more tears over things that had never bothered her before. Claire told herself it was a phase. Every parent goes through this. Every child tests boundaries. It would pass. But it did not pass. It grew. By the time Mia turned 6, the pushback had become something else entirely. Defiance. Rage. A wall that appeared between them without warning and disappeared just as suddenly. And the words, I hate you," said with the full conviction of a child who believed them completely. In that moment, Claire started counting, not consciously, just noticing 3 times in 1 week, then 5, then so many she lost count, and each time something inside her shifted a little further. When your 6-year-old tells you she hates you, the world does not stay quiet about it. Claire heard everything her own mother said. She was too soft. You give that child too much. She does not respect you. Because you have not made her respect you, you need to be firmer. Claire, much firmer, her sister said. It was just attention-seeking. She knows exactly what she is doing. The moment you react, she wins. Stop giving her the reaction, and it will stop. A parenting article she found at midnight said it was a power struggle. Children this age are asserting independence. Hold your boundaries. Do not negotiate. Do not engage. Another article said the opposite. Connect before you correct. She is reaching out in the only language she has. Meet her where she is, Robert said. She was probably just tired. She is 6. She does not mean it. Kids say things they do not mean. Do not take it to heart. You are too soft. Stop reacting. She is tired. She is seeking attention. Hold your boundaries. Connect more. You are too distant. She does not mean it. She absolutely means it. Every voice pointing somewhere different. And Claire standing in the middle of all of it, more confused than when she started, because none of them were answering the question she was actually asking, not the question she said out loud. The question underneath it, does my daughter still love me? It was a Friday night in January. Mia had been difficult all day. Breakfast was wrong. The car journey was wrong. The shoes were wrong. The television program ended at the wrong time. By the time evening came, Claire had been managing the edges of a storm. All day long, she was exhausted in a way that sleep could not fix. Robert was working late. It was just Claire and Mia. Bath time arrived, and Mia refused. Not with tears, not with negotiation, with absolute, cold refusal. No, I am not having a bath. You cannot make me. I hate baths, and I hate you. Claire stayed calm. She used the voice she had practiced. Low, steady, non-reactive. Mia, it is bath time. This is not a choice. Mia looked at her mother with eyes that Claire did not recognize, and said the thing she had never said before. I don't love you anymore. I used to love you, but I don't now. The room went very still. Claire nodded, slowly, helped Mia into the bath, without saying another word, washed her hair, dried her, put her in pajamas, read the story, turned off the light, went to the bathroom, locked the door, slid down the wall until she was sitting on the cold floor, and stayed there for a long time, not crying loudly, just silently falling apart on the bathroom floor, while her daughter slept in the next room. Because for the first time she was not angry. She was not frustrated. She was not strategic about what to do next. She was just a mother who was beginning to believe that something between her and her child was broken, and she did not know how to fix something she could not understand. Robert found her there an hour later. He did not say anything clever. He just sat down on the floor beside her. And the next morning, He booked an appointment with a child psychologist. The appointment was on a Wednesday afternoon. Claire went alone. She had not told Mia where she was going. Dr. Anna's office was small and warm. Books on every wall. A plant on the windowsill. The kind of room that felt deliberately calm. Claire sat down and, without meaning to, told Dr. Anna everything, 8 months of it. All of it. The I hate yous, the defiance, the wall, the bathroom floor, the slow, quiet belief that had been growing inside her, like a weed, that her daughter did not love her anymore. When she finished talking, Dr. Anna was quiet for a moment. Then she said something that stopped Claire completely. She said, "The child who feels safe enough to fall apart in front of you is the child who loves you most." Claire stared at her. Dr. Anna kept going. She explained something called the safe haven theory. She said that children, just like adults, have a primary attachment figure, the person they feel most safe with, the person whose love they trust most completely. And here is what most parents do not know. Children do not unleash their worst behavior on the people they trust least. They unleash it on the people they trust most, because those are the relationships they believe can survive anything. Mia was not pushing Claire away. Mia was checking. Every time she screamed, "I hate you." Every time she defied and raged and refused, she was running a test, the most important test of her 6-year-old life. Will you still be here? Will you still love me? Even when I am at my absolute worst, even when I am impossible to like, will you stay? Claire sat in that small, warm office, with books on every wall, and felt the ground shift beneath her feet. Because she had been reading the whole story backwards, she thought Mia's anger was rejection. It was the opposite. It was attachment. It was a child who loved her mother so completely that she trusted her with the parts of herself she could not show anywhere else, the parts too big and too frightening and too overwhelming for school and friendships and the rest of the world. She brought them home. She brought them to Claire. Because Claire was safe, Dr. Anna leaned forward slightly and said, "The child who saves her worst for you is not the child who loves you least. She is the child who loves you most." Claire drove home from Dr. Anna's office and sat in the car outside the house for a long time, not because she was not ready to go in, because she needed a moment to grieve something. 8 months of taking it personally, 8 months of reading love backwards, 8 months of standing in kitchens and bathrooms and bedrooms, quietly believing something that was not true. She gave herself that moment, and then she went inside. Mia was in the living room, building something with blocks on the floor, focused and quiet, in the way she sometimes was after a difficult day. She looked up when Claire came in, and for a fraction of a second, something crossed her face. Something uncertain, something that looked almost like waiting. Claire sat down on the floor, not on the sofa, not across the room, on the floor, beside her. And instead of waiting for the next storm, instead of bracing, instead of managing, she just sat there and said, "That looks amazing. Tell me about it." Mia looked at her, then looked back at her blocks, and began to talk, not about anything important, just about the tower she was building, and why the blue block had to go on top. and why the red one kept falling off, and Claire sat there on the living room floor and listened to every single word, like it was the most important thing she had ever heard, because in that moment, it was. 3 weeks later, the I hate you moments had not disappeared entirely. Mia was still 6. Her brain was still developing. Big feelings were still sometimes bigger than her ability to carry them. But something had changed. Not in Mia, in Claire. She had stopped flinching. She had stopped bracing. She had stopped hearing I hate you as a verdict. She had started hearing it as a question. And the moment she started answering the question, instead of defending against the verdict, everything between them quietly shifted. That was 11 months ago. Mia is 7 now. She still has big feelings. She is still a child who feels things deeply and intensely, and sometimes louder than the room can hold. But the I hate you moments are rare now. And when they come, Claire knows what they mean, and knowing what they mean changes everything. There are 5 things Claire learned in those 11 months that she wishes someone had told her. On the very first night, Mia looked at her and said the words that broke her open. Said, Point 1. The child who saves her worst for you loves you most. This is the one that changes everything. Once you understand it, children have a primary attachment figure, the person whose love they trust most completely, and they test that love, not consciously, not cruelly, but relentlessly, because they need to know the answer to the most important question of their childhood. Will you still be here when I am impossible to love? The defiance, the I hate yous, the pushing away. It is all the same question dressed up in behavior, because they do not yet have the words. Your job is not to pass every test perfectly. Your job is simply to stay. Point 2. Calm is not the same as cold. In her desperation not to react, Claire had become unreachable. She had learned to go neutral, flat, non-responsive. She thought she was being strong, but Mia experienced her mother's neutrality as distance, and distance made her push harder, because the test was not, will you stay calm? The test was, are you still there? There is a difference between staying calm and going cold. Calm says, I am here and I am steady. Cold says, I have left the room even though my body is still standing here. Mia needed her mother, present and warm, not managed and distant. Point 3. Defiance is a language. When Mia said, I hate you, she was not making a statement about her feelings toward her mother. She was communicating something she did not have the vocabulary for. Yet, I am overwhelmed. I am exhausted. I feel out of control. I need you to come closer, even though everything I am doing is pushing you away. Defiance in a child this age is almost never about the thing it appears to be about. It is almost always about connection, not the absence of boundaries, the absence of felt safety. When Claire stopped trying to manage the behavior and started asking, what is this behavior telling me? Everything she saw changed. Point 4. You cannot pour from an empty place. 8 months of absorbing I hate you had cost Claire something. She had not noticed until it was nearly gone. Her own sense of herself. As a good mother, she had been so focused on managing Mia that she had forgotten to protect herself. And a mother who has stopped believing she is worthy of her child's love cannot give her child what she needs most. which is a mother who believes she is enough. Claire started doing something small after the appointment with Dr. Anna. Every night before she went to sleep, she wrote one thing she had done well that day as a mother. Not a big thing, not a perfect thing, just one true thing. I stayed calm when she screamed. I sat on the floor. I listened to the whole story about the block's small things, but they rebuilt something. Point 5. The goal is not a child who never says I hate you. This one surprised Claire most. She had spent 8 months trying to make the I hate you stop, treating them as a problem to be solved, a behavior to be corrected. But Dr. Anna told her something she had not expected. A child who feels safe enough to say I hate you to her mother and trusts that her mother will still be there is a child who is learning something profoundly important, that relationships can survive hard feelings, that love does not disappear when things get ugly, that the people who matter most will not leave when you are at your worst. The goal is not a child who never feels rage or hurt or hatred in a moment. The goal is a child who knows in her bones that those feelings will never be bigger than the love that holds her. That is what Claire was building, one stayed moment at a time. Mia does not know any of this yet. She is 7. She knows that when things feel too big, her mom sits close. She knows that even the worst moments pass. She knows that her mother's face does not change in the way she used to fear it would. That is enough for now. On a day when she is older and perhaps sitting on her own bathroom floor, maybe she will remember. Maybe she will not even need to remember. Maybe it will just be in her, the knowledge that love does not leave, that the people who stay are not the ones who never get pushed away. They are the ones who understand what the pushing means and stay anyway. Claire did not set out to learn any of this. She just wanted her daughter to stop saying she hated her, but that is how it usually goes. The most important lessons rarely arrive through the doors we expected. They arrive through the hardest moments, through bathroom floors and kitchen counters and the words we never wanted to hear. If you are watching this and you have ever stood completely still while your child said something that broke something inside you, I want you to hear this. She does not hate you. She trusts you. And those two things are not as different as they sound. I wrote this story because I know there are mothers watching this right now who have heard those words and believed them. And I needed them to know what those words actually mean. If this story found you at the right moment, share it with one mother who needs to hear it tonight. And if you have ever felt your child push you away and wondered if they still loved you, drop the word same in the comments. Just same. I will know exactly what you mean.